How's it going, children? I'm Civil Cal. This is me and Rye again.
Yes, again, episode 6, I believe.
I'm not counting anymore. I told myself I wouldn't do that. This
I'm
is
pretty
Marking
sure
Out.
6.
7, technically. Wasn't there 2 last time? Yeah, because it
But
was like
this
2 hours.
was a part 1 and
stupid
2,
long.
though, so like it's still classified as one collective episode.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is Marking Out again. Doing another one. It's really inconsistent at this point.
Yeah, like this was probably because it just would have felt weird if we didn't, considering the fact like this is like the second biggest wrestling event coming up this week. So to skip SummerSlam weekend and be like, we did a pay-per-view like, let's just say Fastlane, because that was absolute garbage. It just would have been weird.
Yeah, very strange. Although, to be fair, SummerSlam isn't the second biggest wrestling event of the year. It's WWE's second biggest event. Just clarifying that.
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom is more important than SummerSlam, and everyone knows it at this point. Unfortunately.
Yeah. That, well, I guess to be fair, like technically, NXT's biggest pay-per-view event.
But NXT is always better than main anyway.
Yeah, because you got all your indie faves putting on amazing matches. But anyway, getting back into this, my audio goofed, so like we lost a good 10 to 15 minutes of footage. Luckily, it wasn't worse. So this
is a 2-time recording.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't get far in, or we got like halfway. We got on a tangent at the second subject.
Yeah.
We covered the second one, then we started talking about WCPW. And the shitty ending to the Skull Henry match, which everyone should know about if they watch WCPW.
I guess we technically have to recover though, like if we're...
Yeah, we got to start from the top again. Yeah. I explained the match anyway. I don't want to explain that finish again because it's terrible. Oh. Anyway, so top of the week. The Rock has obviously his iconic Bronville tattoo on his arm. He actually got it covered up with a half sleeve because he explained it in an Instagram post that I haven't seen. To be completely fair, I don't follow him on Instagram. I don't use my Instagram.
I don't follow him. I just saw it in the article. Because, a lot of time in the article, when they're talking about somebody who said something on Twitter, they kind of, like, link them.
Oh, I didn't look at any articles on it. I saw a picture of it. I was like, cool, good for him. It's what he wants to do.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, in his Instagram post, he pretty much, like, explains all the different parts of the new sleeve. It's like a bull skull, I guess, instead, kind of like showing how he's aged and matured, essentially.
From being itty bitty Rocky Maivia.
Yeah, wait, no. Did he have the Rama Bull tattoo whenever he was Maivia? I don't think he did.
I thought he did.
Maybe he did. I never paid attention. But I guess it does, like, show how he's grown. Because I thought the bull tattoo was more tied to his football career.
Oh, he didn't have it.
Oh, he didn't have it?
Rocky Maivia did not have the Bronze Bull tattoo. At least when he was the IC champion. Anyway, yeah, moving on. There was a Progress show this past week in New York. Mm-hmm. Obviously, WWE stars are going to be in Brooklyn.
Yep.
So Progress had a show in Brooklyn anyway, so it will end up. Pete Dunne, the UK champion, was booked to have a match against Jack Gallagher for the UK championship. Obviously, due to Progress and WWE's working relationship, they could do stuff like that. Unfortunately, they had to call the match off due to Pete Dunne having an injury and a cut above his eye, which he had stapled shut.
Yeah, and I told him before, like we said this the first time, there was this really funny, I mean, to me it was really funny, there was this Twitter post or whatever with a picture, the belt envy picture or whatever, when he was holding both titles and, it was just really, yeah.
It sounded really, like, I don't know.
What do you mean, the post?
No, you just like, yeah, you sounded like annoyed or something, I don't know.
Oh no, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, unfortunately that much couldn't happen at Progress. Gallagher got a new opponent. Pete Dunne still did show up, because he was in Brooklyn already, I believe.
Yeah.
Or he was at least around in the area.
Yeah.
Next up, we had an explanation from Jericho as to why he made his SmackDown appearance a few weeks ago when AJ Styles won his title back. He actually revealed that he wasn't meant to have a match originally, and it was a one-and-done thing, because he was there to film for the new set of Southpaw Wrestling episodes that came out on WWE's YouTube channel. Today, as we're filming this, they came out like 4 hours ago.
They did?
But Vince most likely sat him down and was like, "Hey, wrestle."
Especially after the screwy finish, like I wonder if they try to convince him to fix that for him.
Yeah.
And that they needed him to be there to take the pin.
And obviously, he came in, did business, and got out. Still no timetable for if or when he's going to come back for another full run. But yeah, his last thing was, and it's confirmed now, it was a one-off.
Yeah.
So don't expect the list to be around anytime soon.
Which sucks.
Speaking of what sucks.
Yeah.
Do you want to bundle everything we know about this into one point, or
that's the reason why I did that. There's no point in breaking it up into this was an update, this was an update, and this update came out on this day near this point. Just collectively talk about it at this point.
Yeah, so we had some news. It was Saturday or Sunday? I believe it was the Sunday. The day before Raw, I believe.
I don't remember the specific day, because I never really paid attention.
I don't remember the day. But I just remember it's the same day that WWE announced that they were teaming up with Puma, the shoe branding, to release a special set of shoes for SummerSlam and stuff, and they specifically mentioned they had a set dedicated to Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, Ric Flair has been hospitalized.
Yeah, even though some of the articles have been kind of off concerning some of the information, which his fiance cleared up or whatever. That's at the bottom, just because I did everything in order of article. But do you know about the updates? Concerning his health.
Yeah, I've kept in on it.
Yeah.
So originally, what apparently Ric Flair's management told the press and stuff, which then got obviously pushed forward to the public, was that he had an issue with his colon. However, his fiancée has come out and said that it was actually surgery of different natures, and he had issues with multiple organs.
Yeah. And
they were all sort of ganged up on him at one time.
Yeah. I guess he's in critical condition at the moment, which isn't good, but there hasn't been any release of it worsening. They said that the whatever surgery that he had went well, but I guess he's just not out of the woods yet. You know what I'm saying?
The last report that was released of this recording was that they'd moved him to the ICU.
Yeah.
And he was being surrounded by family. So, well wishes to the Flair family, and honestly, thank God Charlotte isn't wrestling this weekend.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine the stress that would, especially that. But, I hope he pulls through.
Those 10,000 multi-woman matches.
Yeah, like you said, I hope he pulls through. He's one of the biggest names in wrestling.
Yeah. That would suck. Especially for me, considering, I've wanted to meet him because, he put North Carolina wrestling on the map. I'm a North Carolinian, so it would have been nice to I go to Charlotte every now and then. I want to be able to meet him. Someday. He has a wrestling school in Charlotte.
Yeah, and he actually has a book coming out with Charlotte as well soon. So hopefully he'll be around to be able to do the press for that. And,
yeah, most definitely. Yeah. That would be.
That does also mean, for anyone who doesn't keep up to date or anything. He was advertised for signing somewhere in a brand deal with Puma. Obviously, he can't make it.
Yeah.
Due to his medical issues. Moving on to some recovery news.
Yeah.
Shibata, who we didn't cover because it happened before then.
Yeah.
He managed to severely damage his head by delivering a headbutt to Kazuchika Okada. Obviously, New Japan stuff.
Yeah.
His injury was a subdural hematoma. Is that
a subdural
right?
hematoma? Yeah, it's basically it's bleeding in
Hematoma.
the brain. Obviously, nothing pretty.
Yeah, he came out to the ring, said, "I'm alive. That's all." I'm reading directly from this here, so any argument or anything, blame Rye. Sits Indian style,
that's
and
what
then
they
left
call
the
it.
ring.
That's what they call it. I don't know what else is called, like other crisscross applesauce, but that's like kind of childish. So like the other thing that I've heard is sit cross Indian style. That's the only other name that I know for
What, sitting cross-legged?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say cross-legged?
Because people don't say that. Like I haven't heard anyone say that.
Is that an England thing? That might be an England thing, then.
It must be an England thing, because I've only ever heard Indian style. And
sit down on the floor. So sit with your legs crossed, okay?
Yeah. And then we had more comebacks. I guess if you follow NJPW, you'll know them. If you don't, you won't, most definitely. I think Lance Archer was in the WWE at some point, but anyways, Lance Archer, he had a really bad I remember he got the injury. He got it like some months back or whatever. And he's like in this tag with Davey Boy Smith, who is also a part of the WWE, and they are in a tag team called the Killer Elite Squad. They are both also most notably members of the Suzuki Gun faction. And they came out and they attacked War Machine. I don't know the specific members of, it's like Row and something else, but I don't remember their specific names. But anyway, they attacked both them and the Guerrillas of Destiny, who are also members of NJPW. I know their names, that Tamatanga and Tangaroa. And yeah, they attacked them after their championship match.
Yeah, the Guerrillas as well are members of the Bullet Club.
Yep.
And that ties into the Killer Elite Squad being made up of members of Suzuki Gun.
Yep.
I know War Machine's names. What are their names? Rowan and Ronan. What's the other one's name? War Machine. It's just, yeah, War Machine. I'm gonna, that's where... It's Rowan and Hanson. Hanson and Rowan.
Oh, yeah.
Or Rowe. Hanson and Rowe.
Because I've heard people call them, like, Rowe, So, I can't remember both their names, though.
They are the current WCPW Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was surprised by that when I was swiping through the, because I was just curious one day. I was like, I wonder what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And I just swiped through and I saw them on the thumbnail, and I was like, oh, wow. They're holding two championship titles. That was the match
where Scott Wainwright had his injury.
Yeah.
So, don't know if that was planned or not, but that was that match.
I forgot to put that down. I'm just surprised that wasn't on,
That wasn't this week. That was like 2 weeks ago or something.
Oh, it was? Oh. True.
That wasn't this clock week, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
moving on to another wrestling promotion.
Another wrestling promotion that we still haven't crossed onto any WWE stuff yet, really. Except
The Rock.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, wait, no, we did. We talked about The Rock, Rick, and Chris. So.
Oh, yeah. Or, like, none really, like, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, Alberto El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio of the WWE, and former GFW champion, was actually stripped of said championship due to the stuff with media and everything, and apparently the company said he didn't carry himself appropriately throughout the situation, and they expected more from their roster. Well, not only their roster, but also their world champion.
Yeah.
In other words, reading directly from this list, we are tired of your bullshit, Patron.
Essentially, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure they were like already fed up with like the WWE ranting stuff that he did, And so at this point, they were just like, "Man, screw it," Like technically, he didn't do what we thought he did, but it doesn't matter.
They thought he was going to be a new Dream Galloway, and he wasn't. Like, let's be real. That's what they wanted.
I mean, but he's kind of a totally different beast than him, though. Like, he's something totally different than what Drew is.
Yeah, but this is Impact, but they're stupid. They don't know.
I don't think they were expecting Galloway. I think they just... I don't know. My whole rationalization...
I think they expected him to be not obviously the ring style and stuff of Galloway or the charisma, but like the level of him getting over and him being a draw, like Galloway was.
More like that.
In the end of his GFW run, which obviously ended earlier this year. Or late last year,
he's just getting stripped of titles, isn't he? He's getting stripped. That sucks. Like, you're getting stripped of the biggest belt you own, and then you got stripped of the title, like, that was the promotion of the promotion that your girlfriend's family owned.
Exactly. Like, that's going to be an awkward family dinner.
So, you got stripped of 2 titles in the past couple of months.
That's the exact same amount of titles that Pete Dunne owns. Yes. And hasn't been stripped of.
Belt envy.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the recap of Raw. Actually, moving on to some legitimate wrestling. Raw was in Boston this week, and it kicked straight off with Dean storming out to the ring, and Ambrose calls for his unit to be cut. He calls out Seth, and Seth hits to the ring as well with his new Burn It Down theme.
Yeah.
Edit thingy, which is meh. I don't like the way they changed the fire effects.
Oh, what do you mean, like in the Titantron? Titantron,
yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I still pronounce it like that.
What would be better for them to do is just kind of have, like, the static burn away and then have another layer of static beneath it. Just do that. Don't have it cut to black. Swap the flames. Cut to black and then cut to the static thingy he has.
Like, this segment was pretty lengthy. Like, I think it's funny because people complain about Raw starting off always with segments and not actual matches. But this is, like, kind of, like, the thing that people were, like, waiting to happen, you know? What happened to the segment. And, of course, we already have, like, quite a bit to get through. You don't have to, like... The only reason why I sent this one is because Bleacher Report, those links that I was dropping, like, sometimes they were just, like, highlights to the show and they didn't cover every segment. So, yeah, that's the only
I'm going to cover as much detail as possible for this, because I like this segment.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so Rollins hits the ring after Ambrose calls him out. Ambrose essentially says he's done messing about. Asks Rollins if he could, essentially says to Rollins, hey, we doing this or not? And hold out his fist for the shield bump. Rollins then turns around, and they do the thing where then Rollins offers, it was the other way around, Rollins offers it to him, and then something happened. They did it somewhere around. It got to the point where Rollins went to leave. Ambrose then turned him round, threw his mic out. They had a conversation we couldn't hear. It broke to pushing, and a brawl broke out between the 2 former Shield members. Then Raw Tag Champ Shea Mara hit the ring, started beating on them. It got to the point where the 2 former Shield members, while not teaming up, cleared the ring of Sheamus and Cesaro. Did the stupid Shield splits the spot again, where like one of them puts their fist out. They say no. The other one puts their fist out. He says no. But this time, then they both did it, and the building erupted.
Yep.
Like, Jesus Christ, I haven't heard that pop in a while. Especially on Raw.
The only thing that, like, kind of bothered me was, of course, the elephant in the room. What do you think I'm about to say?
Where's Roman?
Yep.
For once, when people want Roman in a situation, he's not there.
I know!
They're like, no.
Like, that's the freaking thing. That's what really annoys me. That one time that people actually want him, he's, like, off doing something else.
It's like, whenever you don't want him in a situation, like, this last Royal Rumble, it's like, who's number 30? Who's number 30? It's going to be Samoa Joe. It's going to be Finn Balor. It's going to be this guy. It's going to be that guy. Oh, it'll be Bobby Roode. Oh, it'll be Shinsuke Nakamura. It'll be this guy. It'll be that guy. It's Roman Reigns. I remember that from the Rumble. God, that killed me inside. And then, especially this, when it's the Shield, they're heavily doing the Shield with the fist bump stuff and everything.
And the fact that Roman... Yeah, and it's like, you have the nerve, you have the theme music and everything, you still wear pretty much the same exact gear. And you have the nerve to not be there.
It's like, he still has the whole gimmick with his right fist as well. Like, it does everything for him. He is just the walking embodiment of the Shield, except no one likes him anymore. This is just stupid.
I feel like I feel like Roman is more of a dumpster fire than Baron Corbin is.
No, he's not, because Corbin Heat is... You know what Corbin Heat is.
I mean, well, dumpster fire is more like referring to like a terribly like handled situation. So I feel like
Definitely.
Roman embodies a terribly handled situation.
I feel like the whole Shield situation is a dumpster fire at this point. But it's a good dumpster fire. And then you have the awkward part that's like off on the side that some hobo built as like a little shed that's set on fire as well with the dumpster. And it's kind of like that awkward bit. It's like if you just went away or we put you in it, it'd be fine. But you're there.
Yeah.
That was a really weird analogy, but
it really was.
I'm used to weird analogies. What was the one I did a couple weeks ago? The Elias one. That was a weird analogy.
I don't even remember that one.
And they circumcised his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with weird analogies. Anyway, we then had the culmination of last week's Raw, which we didn't do something last week. Sorry about that. Anyway, the week before they had 2 matches to decide. They had 2 triple threats to decide who would go 1-on-1 this week to determine the number 1 contender. The winners from last week were Nia Jax and Sasha Banks, so they went 1-on-1. This was in Boston.
This match
they weren't going to do heel versus heel. Sasha Banks won the match. Alexa Bliss had a really strange chair.
Which is really funny because it was like a chair that was high up, even though she's like less than 5 feet.
Well, her nickname's like 5 Feet of Fury or something.
Yeah, but her real height is obviously like a little bit shorter than that.
A little bit high, is it? I'm Googling her name.
Oh no, if you Google her name, it's just going to come up as 5 foot, but she's clearly shorter than that.
Oh no, Wikipedia will be correct. They'll be like, no, this is her height and her actual height. Or do they not?
No, they only put build heights. I don't know why they do that. That's the reason why people always question a wrestler's real height, because they're always putting the build height.
She's 5'1", so she might be 5. Like, she might be dead 5'1".
Oh.
Or like dead 5 even. Or like 4'9".
But the point is, anyway, she's really short.
Yeah, she's a short child. After that, it cut to backstage where Kurt Angle was feeling happy that SummerSlam's going to be really, really good. Yay! And he called the Hardys in. He had to explain to them that, hey, the Revival, one of them's injured, they're not going to be at SummerSlam. The Miz and his Miztourage then walked in. He's essentially saying, hey, Brock Lesnar assaulted my guys. What are you going to do about it? She then made Miz versus Jason Jordan this week. And then a ref actually walked in to explain that Finn Balor and Bray had got into an incident. And so he then left Miz there, and Miz got a little bit annoyed. Then it caught up with them quick, and we found out Finn and Bray had just been brawling backstage for no apparent reason. And they essentially said, hey, you're going to have a match tonight, not at SummerSlam. Go. Doesn't Bray, do mumbo jumbo and live somewhere else to everyone else? What was he doing backstage, just chilling?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure from, the Orton feud, they, established that he has, his little room that he just sits about in.
I mean, I guess his own special room.
No, but this segment wasn't in the special room. They were just sat up. They were just, in the middle of, a parking lot.
Oh, wow.
With a bunch
Honestly,
of boxes
some
just
parts
fighting
of Raw,
for no
some parts
reason.
of Raw I missed. I forgot what I was doing, but it wasn't watching Raw.
Yeah.
Clearly.
They were just, literally, it was just a bunch of referees trying to break them up in the middle of, this big open space, and they were just fighting. They weren't in a locker room. They weren't in his special house. They were just, sat there, by production.
I mean, everyone knows that Bray Wyatt feuds don't make sense.
Yeah, they don't. He talks about God and stuff and says how someone's fake. And then he gets beat up by them, unless it's Seth Rollins for some reason. It still doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, then, cut back to the ring. We get an Elias and R-Truth, what's meant to be a match. Or it was a match, I'm not sure. I don't think it was. I think the match never happened.
Nope, it didn't. He just attacked him as soon as he came in the ring.
Anyway, they introduced Elias, and he had a special little nameplate thing. like the Wyatts, Taker, and Kane, which is cool. I like how they're treating him differently.
Yeah.
He knocks Fenway Park, starts singing and stuff, and then halfway through, R-Truth music hits, and he comes out doing his rap stuff. Truth then gets in the ring, but Elias beats the living hell out of him and hits him with the drift away, which is a neck breaker thing.
It's a sweet. It bothers me because like whenever Asuka and Nikki Cross fought each other, Nikki Cross did like it's called the swinging. Gosh, it's a form of swinging neck breaker and it has fish in it. Is it fish hook? Gosh,
Fisherman
suplex. It's a swinging neck. It's a swinging. Gosh, it's really a swinging.
A swinging fisherman suplex.
Yes. That is exactly what but it's a net breaker. It's not a suplex. It's a swinging fisherman net breaker. That's what it's called. It's a swinging fisherman net breaker.
Elias's, according to Wikipedia, is a swinging fisherman suplex.
Whenever two moves are close, like similar in nature, but they're not the exact same, I get them mixed up. Because Nikki Cross, she did that like 3 times to Asuka and it was like absolutely devastating. And their last one. Huh?
I swear, you get confused if they like are from the same city.
What do you mean
like
from the same city?
Like a black dude and a white dude could be from the same city, and you'll be like, oh, what one is it? What one is it? What one is it? The black one. Yes! Yeah, Nikki Cross is the swinging fisherman neck breaker.
Yeah.
I think the difference is she stands there and spins when Elias picks them up and then spins.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. Because it bothered me that it was a finisher only because like Nikki Cross's was like so freaking devastating. Like it was probably like a combination of like the way she applied it and then like the way Asuka sold it. But it just seemed like
hers is a finish as well. Apparently, that's her finish as well. The
it is
fisherman swinging neckbreaker. Yeah.
Well, I guess it does kind of explain why I look so. You know how if a certain move is someone's finisher, they make it look even more devastating than it would, even though it's a normal in-ring move. Like the senton that Tozawa does.
What, like with Tozawa's senton?
Yeah, from off the top rope. Like, the senton is basically kind of a basic move, but the way how Tozawa does it, it makes it look more like a finisher. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's just because he jumps so high.
I mean, but it's kind of something that you want to do, though. You want to kind of put emphasis or, like, kind of accentuate certain things.
Because he jumps really high, and when he sets it up, he does a little hand thing, where, like, he shoots them out and then, like, rises. It's pretty funny, actually, when he does it, because he looks a little bit spasticated and a little bit constipated at the same time. It's pretty funny.
You can't have the intensity without the constipation.
Anyway, we then got a...
okay.
Really was. Jesus. We then got a Cass segment. Cass came out. They lowered the shot gauge. Cass tried to speak, but the crowd wouldn't let him talk for like a good 2-3 minutes. He then starts doing his normal thing, ragging on Enzo, ragging on Show, doing this stuff. Enzo then came down, and he started making his jokes, because it's Enzo Amore, and that's what he's good for. Show then came out. They then hit the ring together. Enzo walked around the side, though. Show and Cass then had a stare off. Through some events, Enzo got punched in the face, because of course he did. And then the club, Gallows and Anderson, came out and jumped Big Show, and it was them two and Cass beating on him, eventually trapping his hand between the door of the shark cage and the side and the frame of the door and slamming it. I can speak. Slamming it against it. There we go. And that's just saying, hey, Show's injured his hand.
Yep.
Going into SummerSlam.
Yep.
Then, next up, we had the thing that annoyed me at the time, and still does annoy me now. Like, a lot.
What, the fact
the
that
Cruiserweight title match.
Yeah.
The fact they put it on Raw.
Yeah.
Akira Tozawa versus Neville. Now, I have no idea why. Titus came out with Tozawa, because of course they do, and they're like, hey, the SummerSlam match got moved to Raw, yay! And which I'm there and like, oh god, okay. Anyway, Neville then comes out and this is actually how I knew he was going to lose the belt, which is really weird to say, but he Roman Reigns the championship.
Oh, wait, he was dragging it?
Yeah, he held it over his shoulder.
Oh.
He did that, and I'm like, oh, he's going to lose it, isn't he? Because he's not. He looks a little annoyed. Like, more annoyed than Neville normally does. He looks legitimately annoyed. And he's got it, and he had it over his shoulder on the back, which is what Roman did when he had the US belt, and he got a lot of heat because it was apparently disrespectful.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had a pretty good match. Neville wound up getting over the grunting, which, by the way, congrats for Tozawa for getting grunting over. Like, Jesus, he's talented to be able to just go, ah!
To be fair, like, anyone that has, like, a decent amount of charisma and can't speak a certain language that well, like, it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, but how many guys have managed to get a grunt over? Like, normally it's words, but never, like, a noise. Anyway, it's a very back and forth match, and I believe the finish was... Neville went to the... I forget what it was. Neville went for the red arrow. Yeah, Neville went for the red arrow. Tozawa moved, and then Tozawa clicked that Neville was prone on the floor. He climbed the top and hit his senton to win and become the new Cruiserweight champion.
Yep.
Also, they're having a rematch at SummerSlam, which confuses the living hell out of me, because why do a rematch if... Like, what's the point? Are they brushing up Neville Tozawa this quickly? Do they have plans for Neville? Who knows?
I don't know. Like, honestly, the finish kind of confuses me because, like Neville has been so dominant, you know, like since last year. Really? No, he first
since
won in
the beginning
January,
of this year.
But yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like that's the only reason why I see him winning is because like he could cheat, like he's been cheating.
That's for later.
But yeah,
I've seen rumors of them apparently thinking about pushing him to the main roster again and having him kind of do what he did, but beat up guys like Miz and Finn. And Miz isn't a face. Jason Jordan, Roman Reigns, people like them.
Basically,
then there was a
mid-card
bunch
stuff.
of backstage segments. So. Huh? Cole quit. What? Who's Cole? Oh, Michael
Yep.
Cole?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know why that confused me.
What do you think it was Adam Cole doing interviews like Austin Aries
Yeah,
did
yeah.
for those months?
I just figured it out in my head. I'm like, why is that Cole? I was like, why is Adam Cole questioning Big Show yourself for SummerSlam on Raw? Did I miss something? Anyway, there was a bunch of backstage segments. One of them was Show and Enzo in the training room having a conversation. And the other was Mickie James and Emma backstage. Emma essentially complaining that she doesn't get much stuff, bringing up a hashtag. James is in like, hey, you tapped last week. Let's go have a match. So they did. That happened later in the night. Then we had the other match that was supposedly pushed forward from SummerSlam. Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. Bright hit the ring before the commercial. Then Balor, a edited down version of Balor's music hit. They cut the whole starting thing. The bad, like the rock version of it.
Yeah.
They then kind of had more of a brawl type match, which was pretty cool. It was alright, but then the finish is questionable. Finn goes for the coup de grace, obviously. I believe, but Wyatt... Oh no, he goes up to go for the coup de grace. Wyatt then crotches him, so laying him up on the top rope with his crotch on the metal pole thingy-majig. He then dragged Balor off the top and hit Sister Abigail to win. This feels like 50-50 booking at its finest.
I mean, that is essentially Wyatt's wife. Wyatt's life.
What, 50-50 booking?
Yes.
Fair point. Although he is the eater of pins, so...
He always ends up like with that bad end of the stick though. It's like you win, I win, you win, I win, you win, I win, you win. Oh.
Yeah. Also, Balor then had some, as WWE gave it like some hazard, they called it hazardous liquid or something. He poured fake blood all over Finn Balor, which was a thing to lead to later on in the night, where they had a backstage segment where Finn came out the GM room, and the woman was like, "Hey, you've got a rematch," blah blah blah. And it was essentially Finn saying, "I'm gonna go paint myself for SummerSlam and be the Demon King, and I'm gonna kill him." Which is why Finn's winning at SummerSlam. Sorry, people, he's doing the demon thing.
Yeah.
We then had filler galore with Mickie James versus Emma. I feel like they're slowly burying Emma, and I feel bad.
It sucks. It really does. Like, when you have someone like Mickie James' like primary purpose has been established, that her primary purpose in being there is to pit other talent. That's like having Chris Jericho beat you like multiple times in a row, taking one loss to Mickie James. Because at least Chris Jericho has like picked up wins, you know? Because
yeah, at least Jericho does stuff.
Yeah,
but James just kind of loses and loses and loses and loses. It's like, you know, this is like losing to Bray Wyatt. You're not actually getting put over. You're just proving that you're not complete dog shit. Mickie got the win. It was a
decent match, but
it was a botch of a kick though.
I didn't see
she missed completely. Like, you could see there was a visible gap between Emma's face and Mickie James' foot.
That happens sometimes with that move. I don't know why.
What, a kick to the face?
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't it like a capoeira kick or something of sorts?
I guess. Yeah. Then after that, they showed the backstage segment for Finn being like, essentially what he said was like, Wyatt has his demons and he'll find out mine at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Demon Finny. Then we get Miz versus Jason Jordan. The match ends in a DQ with Jordan winning. After the bell, the Hardys hit the ring, make a save, and then we get back from the break and they have a 6-man tag with the Miz Taraj against the Hardys and Jason Jordan. It ends how you think it would. The faces pick up the win. I didn't watch the match.
I didn't either. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I didn't see any of it.
I saw the finish. I was like, cool. I don't care about Jason Jordan. I just don't. Not even the Hardys can make me care. Anyway, then to the end of the night, Heyman and Brock hit the ring. They go over the fact that, you know, if we lose, we're leaving. If we win, we're showing we're the best. Blah blah blah. And then Samoa Joe hits the ring and essentially reminds Lesnar that Joe doesn't fear him and that he's taking the title for SummerSlam and he's going to put Lesnar to sleep. Braun comes out and then declares that he's the last man standing, which I guess is going to be his new gimmick. Kind of like when they had Dean Ambrose be the Iron Man.
Yeah, essentially.
Joe then reminds him that, hey, you only won because of me. And then Reigns' music hits, boos galore. He then walks in and immediately spears Joe. Why? Is it because he knocked him out last week? Like, also Kurt Angle didn't want to ruin the main event, so why did he let Roman Reigns just walk in and spear someone?
I mean, well, you could say it was spontaneous. Like, Reigns could have just walked in and like picked up a mic and said something, but it was more sporadic.
Yeah, but he didn't have a mic with him. Everyone else did. Surely that was a tell of, oh, he's going to do something. In kayfabe terms.
Oh, I'm
Obviously,
sorry. I didn't watch the final segment. I only saw like parts where Heyman was like talking.
You know,
yeah.
Roman just everyone else calms down with a mic to talk. Roman just walks down, gets in the ring, and spears Samoa Joe. And it's like, well, what was that for? He wasn't smack. He was smack talking Braun. Like, was that for the thing last week? Because calm down. Anyway, Joe and Roman then get taken care of, and there's a stare down between Lesnar and Braun. They then do their security thing, where the security comes out and holds them back. They then get beat up. They then do the locker room thing. And then goes off the air. Raw then goes off the air by having the locker room holding Lesnar and Braun both back. Raw was pretty good. Pretty good match. Thing. Whole time.
Like, at least, this is the thing. I remember in previous years, like, NXT is always going to be better, you know? NXT Brooklyn's always going to be better. But compared to the previous years, it's a lot closer to NXT Brooklyn than it was in the previous years. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's better.
SummerSlam has more of a chance to be better.
Yeah. In the previous years, it was just outright like NXT is better.
Yeah, like obviously, like if you remember, was there a TakeOver show for Mania?
I forgot we didn't mention this. We didn't mention the fact that the
Enzo stuff.
Yeah, the fact that the whole reason why he's in the shark cage.
Yeah, do you want to do it? Because I spoke a lot.
Okay. Well, basically, the whole reason why Enzo is in the shark cage is because Enzo has been, like, there's a lot of heat on Enzo. He's been breaking locker room etiquette. There was, like, this whole incident where a stripper said that, like, he was, like being kind of a douche. And there was him getting kicked out of the tour bus, Roman Reigns' tour bus, but that's a pretty big thing. That was not a tour bus, it's just a regular bus, I don't know, whatever.
It was the bus for the live show circuit.
Yeah, the bus for the live shows. He got kicked out of that. So essentially, he's a really charismatic guy. He knows how to smack talk. People like his character, so of course he moves merch. So instead of demoting him to NXT or moving him to 205 Live or firing him, instead they're putting him in the shark cage because apparently Renzo Amore is terribly afraid of heights in real life. And the shark cage gets put up, like, really high in the center of the arena.
Although we haven't actually been confirmed anything from anybody, just know if that match goes on, like, 20 minutes, you know they're ripping on Enzo, and that's it.
Pretty much. Especially a big man's match like that.
Yeah, like a big man's match like that, that's two big dudes just having a normal match. Shouldn't go longer than, like, 10 minutes.
Unless, like, at least one of them are, like, normal sized.
Yeah. Anyway, moving across onto the next thing, we have some signing news.
Adam Cole, baby!
Yep, I think that's it. I don't think we need to say much more.
Moves on to next subject. You're not even going to talk about...
So, anyway, what do you want to say? Because the next thing's depressing. Let's get some happy stuff in real quick.
Oy vey. Wait, so... Oy vey. Do you not want to, like, discuss your theories? Or, like, was the previous episode of Theory, like, enough?
With me seeing, like,
3
ways of how TakeOver's
yeah, because I guess technically the previous episode we theorized a good chunk of the time.
But now we have more confirmation, meaning I can be right. I guess we'll go into that then. Anyway, so last time around in the 2-part, because that was 2.5 hours, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
We mentioned the ROH faction and Adam Cole and stuff like that. However, he wasn't signed with the company at the time. Now that he's signed, everyone's saying, "Okay, Adam Cole's going to be in Brooklyn."
Yeah.
It's like a done deal at this point.
Yeah, because it was like a confirmed signing. And the difference between that is that we were like theorizing, maybe Donovan Dijak, but I guess technically like McIntyre just kind of showed up, It was like after that fact that he was announced for... Wait, no. Was it shortly before TakeOver whenever his contract signing was announced? Or was it like after TakeOver when it was like, oh yeah, this is legit?
It was after the show ended. Because it was a spontaneous thing.
Yeah.
It was meant... Someone was always meant to be in the crowd, but it was meant to be someone else. Everyone assumed it was Adam Cole, but WWE... Apparently, what happened was it was going to be Cole, but WWE still had cold feet about ROH.
Yeah.
Which is why they were then... And then they called McIntyre like, yo, You want to come back? He's like, yeah, sure, why not? Anyway, so a lot of people are speculating he's going to be at Brooklyn, and people are actually speculating he might not just be a face in the crowd. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, if the ROH faction is true, we could see Redragon, possibly Dijak as well, because we don't know what they want to do with him.
Yeah.
And if you're bringing in a faction, you have Adam Cole under contract, he's the best guy to make the face
I
of it.
feel like if they throw in Dijak too, that it'll be more believable if they take the titles, because like it'll be like a gender situation where you have like 4 or 5 people on your team. So like then I'll be like, yeah, they can totally contend for the title. You have
that has to do with our predictions. We're doing predictions this time around, by the way, for the events, the TakeOver and SummerSlam. Yeah. That has to do with her side of the predictions. I've seen them. Yeah, so people are speculating, hey, the ROH faction might come down and jump the final match or a match, something like that.
Yeah.
Or, long story short, it's not 100% confirmed, but it's like 95% confirmed in the community that Adam Cole's going to be at Brooklyn. Although he's being very good and he's gone Twitter silent. The only thing he's tweeted since it came out was #AdamColeBaby. With a picture of him doing the Adam Cole thing. Anyway, moving on to some more sad news.
Yes.
JoJo, the usual Monday Night Raw announcer, wasn't announcing at Raw this week. Unfortunately, due to and I don't know how or why, I haven't looked into it. I didn't even know this happened, actually.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't know this.
I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't read the details of the article. Like, I didn't know it was like her sister.
I didn't hear about any of it. JoJo's sister passed.
Yeah. Apparently, like, she's the daughter of a famous baseball player, but I'm not sure if her sister's famous, technically.
She might be.
I don't know. But yeah, that's essentially why she wasn't there.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find stuff. Her sister. Her dad is her father is Jose Offerman. If you know, I personally don't know who he is. Nothing.
I don't follow baseball, so I really don't know.
Wikipedia has nothing, it only mentions her father. So I assume she's not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Anyway, that's some upset. Oh no, this is a sad week. I didn't know this happened either.
What do you mean about Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, he revealed this like a couple days ago. Because, you know how I told you they were complaining about, him having come back after 2 months being like... Because this is what happened. You may already know this, but they originally offered Mike a NXT contract. Then Mike was like, no, I'm a big player. You should, put me on main roster. So they gave him a main roster contract. And apparently, of course, I told you during that time he hadn't been working out or anything or whatever. Like, if anything, he got into worse shape. And so WWE were like, okay, this guy's complacent and lazy. But apparently he just recently, I guess maybe a couple of days ago, he announced that he's actually been suffering addiction to prescription pills. So, that may be kind of, and the fact that it's kind of like exacerbated in the past year and a half. So that may have something to do with why he's been kind of getting in worse shape in terms of health. And
why he hasn't been featured on SmackDown since the event after the Battleground.
Well, that's more has to do with the heat in the whole situation of them like feeling like he's complacent and lazy.
I feel like they still keep him on TV because he was still getting reactions.
Yeah, that is true.
Although they don't really know how much draw he is because they didn't make merch or anything for him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an issue. Anyway, yeah, I didn't know about that. That's why I kept quiet. That's sad, man.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, moving on to SummerSlam.
SmackDown?
Not SummerSlam. Oh, Jesus.
SmackDown was really solid, too. Don't you dare skip that.
Anyway, we're going straight to the end. We're going to SummerSlam. Okay, let's go. No.
An event that hasn't even happened yet. Let's talk about SummerSlam.
let's talk about the SummerSlam results. It hasn't happened yet. Let's talk about the SummerSlam results. Anyway, it was from Rhode Island, apparently. Anyway, so the Sings came out. They did the Sing Jinder entrance. Majinda jumped. Majinda.
The Majinda.
The
gender agenda.
I was just gonna say, Mike jumped on the mic, and I stopped myself halfway through. It's like Majinda. Mahal. No, I think I was gonna say Mahal, and then I said Jinder. It's probably more likely, actually. Mahal jumped on the microphone and commented about it being the Independence Day for India. They'd had this big celebration, and he ripped into Cena and stuff. And then the King of Strong Style. That's his nickname.
Yep.
Came out to the ring and essentially said, "Hey, I'm beating you at SummerSlam. Have fun, mate." And Jinder was like, "It's your destiny to lose to the modern day Maharaja." Oh no, that was before that. He was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna beat Shinsuke Nakamura." Then Shinsuke hit the ring. He was like, "I'm beating you. Have fun, mate."
And then he just leaves,
and
right?
Nakamura music's hit, and he left. They then advertised Cena versus Jinder, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
It then kicked off with a match, Natalya versus Becky Lynch. I didn't watch this match at all.
It was an
Did you?
okay match, but like I guess the ending made sense considering the fact that they had to like make Natalya look strong, or like somewhat like she's going to stand a chance, even though she's like totally not winning. I don't know. They may pull a swerve. WWE sometimes pulls swerves, but you know.
But I don't think she will. Oh wait, do I? I'm gonna try to stick by this list if I said.
Because like even Natalya winning.
Oh no, I think she is winning. Sorry.
Oh, you do think that Natalya's winning?
Yeah. Spoiler alert: I put Natalya's name down on my predictions.
But
I don't know why. Oh well.
But essentially, what goes on in the match is there's a lot of like in the beginning, like Becky looks strong, and Naomi comes out before the match, like. Well, not before the match starts, like kind of like before the match starts, or like during the entrances, and she's sitting at the commentator's
Not before
table.
the match start, but kind of before the match start. What? You just says not before the match starts, but before the match started.
I guess what I mean
out.
that in terms of like greatness, like it's closer to the end of the entrances than the beginning. Let's put it that way. That makes a lot more sense.
She came up before she came up before the bell.
Yeah, she came up before the bell. And so, she basically goes to the commentary table, and Natalya like stares a bloody hole through her. And just in the very beginning, there's a whole lot of Becky taking control during the match, and then there's more staring down that occurs because she's kind of embarrassed that hey, Becky just laid me out. And then coming back from the break, it looks like she's going to come back, but Natalya gains back control. And Becky hits off the big exploder and gets more offense for another 2 count. And Natalya blocks basically blocks her finishing move, which is the disarmer. Oh, wow! I thought it was the disarm her, not the disarm her. Oh my gosh! I never actually saw it spelled out.
Did you just had an epiphany?
I thought it was just disarmer, like you're like I thought that was like this like a technical word for like disarmer, not disarm her, but like I thought it was just like that.
No, it's a pun.
I didn't know it's really funny too because like Becky in real life, she's like a really punny person. Oh wow, a really punny person. Oy vey, enough for the puns, unintentional. But anyway, after that, she goes for the sharpshooter, and surprisingly. Natalya actually makes Becky tap out, and that pretty much surprised me because I remember the last time I've seen Becky tap out.
Nikki?
I said Becky.
Did you?
I did
heard
say
Nikki.
Oh no, I said Becky. But yeah, she made her tap out, and that's kind of weird because like it's weird when you're so used to like seeing a person win submission finishes and then they tap out, and it's kind of weird to someone else's submission finish.
It's also weird when you remember that the last time those two had a match, Natalia was the one tapping out.
Yeah.
That's what makes it very, very, very puzzling.
But after the match, essentially, there's another stare down, and this was the part that was really funny to me. So after the match, like, Natalia starts attacking Becky again and applies the sharpshooter again, and so Naomi comes in like a bit too soon. I'm not sure who was too late or too soon, but there was a point in time where like Naomi was like so very close to Natalia that if she really wanted to punch her, she could. You know, because you know when someone's supposed to flee and run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was like really close to her, like inside the ring before Natalia even rolled out. They're supposed to be like a good distance. So it almost didn't make any sense. Like Natalia, like Naomi's boobs like practically touched Natalia. Like they were that close for like a good point in time. Like she could have hit her.
It's good to know your eyes were looking in the right place.
Huh?
It's good to know your eyes were looking in the right place.
No, I'm just saying in terms of like I was chest, boobs, whatever.
It was a joke.
Yeah,
it was a joke.
But anyways, yeah, it was just really awkward because it was like she kind of fleed, but not exactly because you could have totally hit her, but you didn't because that wasn't a part of the segment / story.
Yeah, because if you hit her, she'd probably legitimately like potato her, and Natalia would be like, "What?" She wouldn't be able to brace for it, would she? It would have been a better story, but you know. Jesus, that's a loud rain. That might be getting picked up on my microphone. Anyway, so after that all happened, there was a bunch of backstage stuff that went down, blah blah blah. It then cut to the next match, which was Rusev versus Chad Gable.
Oh wow, you're gonna skip this segment that was absolutely amazing.
What segment? I barely watched SmackDown.
Oh, wow. Well, Tamina Snuka and Lana had a segment, and you know that's always good. Apparently, Lana, I'm getting this vibe that Lana's like stepping away from the ring because I think what they're doing now is they're gonna start having Lana speak for Tamina. Essentially, that what it felt like the point of the segment was. That because she was basically like, you know, I'm going to use my ravishingness to bring you more opportunities and give you more matches, and we together we will crush.
The whole ravishing thing though be like, oh, we love each other.
Yeah, and together we will crush.
Are they making them lesbian now? Like, is that what's going on? It's a bit, yeah.
Sexual tension intensifies.
That explains why Tamina keeps forgetting her lines. She gets flustered.
Oh, baby. But that's essentially what that segment was about. It was just the fact that Lana, like, at heart, like, essentially she's more of an actor than she is a wrestler. So, you know.
Even though her Russian accent is pretty bad.
Honestly, there's been some Russian people that say that it's, like, decently accurate. Even though it's not as bad.
She slips out of it a lot.
Not as much as she did, like, whenever they had first...
Not as much as she used to, no.
Yeah, I think it was almost intentional how bad she did it before. Because, you know, when... It was kind of like when Carmella, like, totally got rid of her accent whenever she started feuding with Bayley in NXT. And it was like, why? Like, around the time that they acknowledged that Rusev and Lana were together in real life, that was when, like, she was slipping out of it to the point that it almost felt intentional.
Also, it's weird though when they have accents and they bring up why they're slipping out of it. A la Kofi Kingston.
It's even more funny because Carmella, like, whenever she came on main roster, she all of a sudden had the accent again.
She always does her Jersey. Or whatever it is she's from. It's not Jersey, is it?
No, she's from Florida in real life. But her character's supposed to be from Staten Island or whatever.
Oh, Jesus, this is heavy rain. But
Oh wow. That was
sorry.
Cancer's embodiment. Okay. I can't talk about bad puns though. What did the ninja
You can't. You just got the disarmer thing.
Yeah. What did a ninja go to school to be?
Anyway. Sorry about that.
No, answer the question. You know what it is.
So I know what the question is?
What does a ninja go to school to be?
What does a ninja supposed to be? What? I'm hearing you wrong.
What does a ninja go to school to be?
A ninja?
Near.
What?
A ninja near.
Oh, that just clicked.
Oh my god! A ninja goes to school to be an engineer.
Okay, I need to know. Okay, my mic is legitimately picking up the rain. Jesus.
It's fine though. It's like it's legitimate like white background noise, so it'll go away.
Alright, I'll edit it out. Sorry, I didn't get that. That went over my head completely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was a Rusev Gable match.
Are you gonna skip the fact that they had like a segment or whatever?
I didn't watch it. Who had a segment?
You know how the Usos have this weird thing that like whenever they're backstage talking to Bryan, like they're like completely face, but they don't not heel until they like come out to the crowd.
Oh yeah. Oh, do they do one of them?
Yeah. They were like, okay. So Bryan says it will be Big E and Xavier Woods, and the Usos want Woods and Kofi Kingston tonight after what happened last week. Yeah. They asked for a match. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Ah. Oh. So I assume I can move on now. I haven't missed anything important, yeah?
Yeah. After that, it's just a match.
Alright. Yep. Anyway, so Rusev and Gable had a match. Rusev came out. And they show how he floored Orton last week as SmackDown was going off the air. And Gable then came out. They had a decent amount of match. Gable did some nice suplexes. Rusev launched Gable over the announce table, and for some reason the referee called for DQ, even though that's not a DQ. I don't believe. He didn't go through anything. Nor were weapons used against his body.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a contrived way to get Gable to lose and make Rusev look strong.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Anyway, that happened. Rusev then kept punishment on Gable. He got an accolade on top of the announce table. Rusev then breaks a hold as fans chant for Randy. He gets in the ring with a mic. All he managed to say is Randy when Orton runs out and nails him with an RKO.
It was brilliant. The what you call it? The camera work on that.
Yeah, I saw that bit. That was really good actually.
It was.
RKO.
Camera crew on
After
fleek.
that, they then obviously kept plugging stuff and being like, "Hey, we have this and this and this, yay!" Then we get to the segment between AJ and Shane and Owens. Essentially, AJ's trying to explain to Shane, "Hey, the kick was accidental," and Shane's like, "Hey, it's okay, blah blah blah. Just know, you hit me again, I'm gonna hit you."
Yep.
Owens was then like, "Oh, it wasn't an accident. I don't think it was an accident." Blah blah blah, and he keeps doing it and doing it. He then tries to get all buddy with Shane. AJ then keeps poking fun to a point where they start to brawl. Owens ducked. AJ went for a punch, and he almost catches Shane, but Shane caught his arm.
Yep.
And then Owens tried to superkick AJ, but AJ dodged and nailed Owens in the face. Not Owens. He kicked himself in the face with a super kick. It's brilliant. Honestly, go watch that spot. He super kicked Shane in the face, to which AJ then stood there laughing, essentially, as Shane is down on the mat, just kind of looking at him. AJ then gives some speech to Shane, and then they leave. After that, there was some A Fashion Peaks thing. It was the final one, I believe. The final Fashion Peaks.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what happened in it because they don't have the details. I don't remember the defining thing of the final episode. But it does end. The most important part is it does end. There's like this joke saying like, they'll be back in like 200 billion years or whatever, and then it changes and it says they'll be back in 3 weeks. So they'll be returning back.
No, it was like 24 years.
Yeah.
And the crowd legitimately like sounded upset.
Yeah.
And then it changed to 2 weeks and then they popped. So a lot of people kind of thought, oh, they're going to be at SummerSlam because every single time they've done one of these, they've had a cliffhanger and then it'd be like, it will be back.
But there's no space for that.
True. Then, anyway, we got the New Day versus the Usos.
Pretty solid match.
I didn't watch this match either.
I mean, like, I knew it was going to be a good match, because they always put on good matches for whatever reason. But
yeah, I just didn't watch it because I kind of wanted to be fresh on the idea of the match for SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so it was... New Day got control early on. Essentially, they had control for most of the match. Usos managed to break it out, obviously. After a brawl, the Usos managed to pick up a win with a double super kick to Kofi. And the Usos stand tall as the winner.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the thing for Fashion Peaks.
Where is it?
Above Still to Come, Cena vs. Jinder, back to commercial. The announcers lead us to the finale of Breezango's Fashion Peak series. They essentially makes another appearance. Fandango ends up saying that the entire tag team division is facing something dark. Breezango will return in 2 weeks, the graphic says. Essentially, yeah, Breezango, I explained it earlier, they're coming back in 2 weeks. Yeah. It's fine.
I thought it was 3 weeks.
No, it's 2.
Okay.
Then we get what was meant to be the main event, Jinder Mahal versus John Cena. It starts off with Jinder walking Cena. And then the Sings start doing the Sings. Jinder winds up dominating most of the match until Cena hits his little 5 moves of doom. Hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. The ref then gets involved somehow, and the Sings actually get Cena out the ring. Cena then plays cat and mouse with the Singh brothers. They then distract Cena by grabbing his legs, so Cena abuses them completely. And then they actually get ejected. Cena then gets his STF in.
Yep.
And blah, blah, blah. Cena kicked out at 2.
It just
Cena goes to the class, but they block it. Cena then hits the AA for a close 2 count. Cena then hits the Super AA, but is then actually assaulted by Baron Corbin. Who then, and this is where we get to talk about the mega heat afterwards, yay.
Yep.
Corbin decides to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yep.
As Jinder's getting up, the bell rings. Cena jumps on the apron. Corbin turns around and knocks him in the face. Jinder then runs up and rolls him up in a schoolboy to retain. Corbin then threw a fit, and Cena got flipped off by a fan.
And then he smiled.
He sat there and smiled at this fan. Essentially, he then went on Twitter saying, no matter what you do, there will always be hate. You have 2 choices, hate back or smile and rise above hate. I prefer option 2. Corbin then responded saying, the pseudo-motivational speaker act is transparent. You laughed in my face while ruining the biggest moment of my career. I'm with the girl. Obviously mentioning who flipped him off.
Yep.
However, since then, it's been discovered that Corbin has nuclear heat backstage due to him being a bit controversial on Twitter. On Twitter, he's gone on record insulting Dave Meltzer
too. He attacked Dave Meltzer, and he also insulted a soldier.
To be fair on him, he didn't know the soldier was a soldier. He was just thinking he was playing up the fans.
Yeah.
Essentially what he did is he called a soldier unknowingly a loser and stuff.
Yep.
And the soldier then turned around. And I think kind of a bit off. I don't really see how this is all Corbin's fault, because there's no way he could have known this dude was in the military.
Yeah.
He then tweets back with a picture of him and a couple of guys with Vince saying, really, because your boss didn't think I was a loser.
Yep.
And I'm kind of more saying this soldier's a bit of a douche.
And what do you
Because
know what he said about Meltzer?
I don't know what he said about Meltzer.
What he said about Meltzer was like, oh, you've never taken a bump, you've never been in the ring before, so you don't have any right to talk about wrestling. And then Meltzer's response was like, oh, well, by your argument, Mr. McMahon technically doesn't know anything about the business until like around a certain year. I think it's like 1998 or something, whenever he had his first match.
Everything that Quo's been in trouble with recently, they've had to bring up Mr. McMahon as their argument. It's like they're like, we have no argument against him, Vince. Anyway, yeah, the Meltzer thing, I actually see. Also, apparently, he's blocked WWE staff members on Twitter, and that just rubbed people the wrong way.
Oh wow.
But yeah, the Meltzer thing I understand. The Soldier thing I don't like, unless like I haven't looked or anything. Unless on the Soldier's Twitter profile it says in like the bio and stuff, and on his pic, like if his profile picture is him in a soldier outfit. And if on his bio he like mentions that he's a US soldier, then it's completely Corbin's fault. He could have just quickly looked.
Yep.
But if he didn't, then that soldier's a bit of a dick. It's true. Off at some point through the week, we also got I guess a quote unquote update on Bayley's injury. She currently has no timetable return.
Yep.
So we don't know when she's going to be back. This has led people to believe it may be a walk, because usually by now they have timetable returns.
Yeah.
However, we can't be 110% sure. Moving on to NXT. It's always pretty good, but this one was pretty good. It kicked off with William Regal announcing that there's going to be a contract signing. He then brought out Ember Moon and Asuka. Ember essentially says, she said to Asuka that she had an amazing journey in NXT. You're one of the most dominant champions. You've beaten the best on all the brands. Your streak is longer than Goldberg's. And she's like, you only had to cheat to beat me though. And stuff like that. Oh yeah, the Asuka Goldberg chant. You could have just said it.
Oh, that's because I'm going to have to go soon. Because my mom, until she settles, it sucks too. Because I really want to talk about NXT. Like, I'll be able to come back, but you would just have to, like, go through stuff without me. Until I come back. Like, I'll probably be back in time enough for predictions.
Well, I got NXT and they shot Benjamin, so... That's cool. Yeah, they actually, the crowd started chanting Asuka in the way that they chant Goldberg, which was cool. Moon then essentially said, hey, you injured me so I couldn't compete at TakeOver Chicago, and you made the biggest mistake of your career and her life. Moon's like, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm faster and stronger than I ever have been. And it's because Asuka cheated, so at TakeOver she's going to end the reign of dominance and streak and become the new NXT Women's Champion. She then signs a contract. Asuka then signs it and says some stuff in Japanese that I didn't understand because I didn't speak Japanese. I was honestly waiting for Moon to pick up the mic and be like, I don't speak Japanese. Anyway, they then stare down as Asuka holds up her championship. It then cuts to backstage as Regal's telling her story, and Lance Sullivan, the big dude who's been on NXT recently, who has an issue with hurting his tag partners, asks for another tag match, and he promises he'll be good. Regal's then like, after he's done begging, he's like, okay. And we then kick into the first match, which is the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, taking on Lance Sullivan and Chris Sylvia. It starts off with Silvio charges in and starts assaulting Dawkins. Sullivan is very annoyed with this. He wanted to go in first. They then walk over Silvio completely within the match, taking him out. And yeah. They then drop Sylvia with the Spinebuster Frog Splash finisher and get a win. Afterwards, Sullivan then dragged his partner backstage, took him out back, and threw him outside into a guardrail and choke slammed him over a dumpster. It did then cut to commercial. Lars is a nice dude. Jesus Christ. Then we went to another match. It was Ruby Riott against Billie Kay with Peyton Royce. This is a decent match. It's setting up some weird feud thing, I believe. Ruby gets the win with a pellet kick after Billie Kay was kind of being very crafty and stuff like that. After the match, Peyton tells Billie that she might be feeling good, but like essentially she mocks her look. That's all it is. She's like mocking how they look. Then we had a video package for the tag title match between Sanity and AOP. And then it cut to commercial again. And we had the final match of the night. Roderick Strong versus Drew McIntyre. This is one of those matches where you gotta go watch it yourself. It's really good.
I'm back.
Hello?
My mom had to
Hey.
she just kind of came here and then left because she had to go get a car part, so she's going to be gone for a while.
I'm in Strong and McIntyre, so
Okay.
yeah, I just kicked it off. Yeah, it was a really good match. Go watch it yourself if you can. Through the match, at the first it was very kind of like they were locking up, and essentially they were doing the thing of feeling out the opponent.
Yeah. It was kind of like, it was, I guess, it felt like there was that whole thing, how they talk about storytelling in the ring, of course, It was kind of like basically a basic story, considering that it's just telling, it's showing the difference in strength between the opponents,
Yeah, a lot of it was more brawling, which obviously fits into McIntyre's style a lot more. There we go. I don't know what to say about the match, honestly, just because I think it was pretty damn good. It could have been a TakeOver match.
It could, but then, I mean, like, this is still, like, the biggest TakeOver of the year, so it kind of makes sense that we have... It's funny, though, because it's like, oh, look at this TNA main event we have. We have Drew Galloway facing Bobby Roode in the main event of Bound for Glory for the TNA World Championship.
Did that happen? I'm confused.
It probably... No, I was just saying... No, I'm saying that maybe it happened at some point, but I didn't start back watching TNA until, like, last year. So that's just me making a joke because Bound for Glory is their biggest pay-per-view. Yeah.
Remember, though, the NXT title isn't the... It's a recycled X Division Championship. Remember?
I mean...
It is. It is. It looks like an X Division title. Which is fine, because, it's a championship. A lot of them are going to look similar anyway.
True.
And
unless you're, in Japan.
True. To be fair, though, as well, there is there's a company in the UK. It's a decent company, like, they're partnered with WWE, but they actually use a WWE replica belt with tape over the World Wrestling Entertainment bit, and just it's pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
They have a working relationship with WWE as well.
That's funny. It sounds like a spoof promotion of WWE.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, towards the finish of the Drew Strong match, Drew starts setting up the Claymore kick. Strong countered with a lovely looking jumping knee.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it was brilliant. He then got him in a cradle backbreaker, which was really nice as well, because he managed to lift Drew McIntyre up like he was his wife getting married. Drew tries to do his turnbuckle spot, but Roderick counters it. Drew then goes for a superplex, but gets knocked off. He gets knocked out to a tree of woe. Bobby Roode then comes out and pushes Strong off the top rope, meaning your winner for the match was Roderick Strong by DQ.
Yeah, and those that don't know, like, the Tree of Woe is like a very it's a very compromising position. It's like you're hanging up from the rope with your arm across your chest, and you're just like hanging there from the top rope, like dead weight.
Yeah, with your legs tied around the buckle joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, this does mean, though, the gimmick for the match was if Strong wins, he gets a match with Bobby Roode later down the line. He now gets that match. Roode then decided to assault Drew completely. He then got out of the ring, assaulted Strong, drew him into the steps. Roode then also he then put Drew down with the glorious DDT. He then jumped on the turnbuckle, taunted Strong, and that ended NXT, the go-home show for TakeOver Brooklyn 3.
There's a tremendous amount of storytelling in this. Like, it speaks volumes. One, Bobby Roode has this whole plan where he's like, I know that Drew's going to be an issue, but because he doesn't see Roderick Strong as much of a man, he's like, okay, I'll take the match. And not only that, I have some damage done to Roderick Strong, and so, yeah, it's kind of like, whatever. I'll have to face Roderick Strong, but he'll be damaged. She's damaged goods.
They put on good matches last time, and it will not be for the championship as well, so we don't know.
He said he didn't win a championship match, so I guess, he hasn't earned, a championship opportunity. It's just,
if he beats Roode, if Roode wins at TakeOver and Strong and then meets Roode, Strong will then get a title shot.
Yeah, essentially.
Anyway, so over the days after NXT, we actually got an announcement that Shelton Benjamin...
Just last night.
Who was...
Yep.
It was last night?
It was announced just last night.
Oh.
Yep, Shelton Benjamin.
So,
yep.
Under 24 hours ago, they announced that Shelton Benjamin, a man who was advertised to come back last year, around this time last year. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So a year on from when he was advertised.
Yeah, because it was around the time when the brand split had just happened.
Yeah, for the draft. He is now officially re-signed with the company. So look forward to him, people who like Shelton Benjamin. Because there ain't no stopping him now. Unless an injury, because then that may stop him for a little bit. Anyway, people, predictions aren't actually going to be in this, because I know there are a bunch of them. I doubt everything we edited out. They're going to be in a different thing, put up later. Anyway, this has been it for this time. I've been Civil. This has been Right.
Yep.
And see you next time. Bye.
Bye. And the only reason why we're doing this is because connection's too bad to do it at the moment. But yeah.
Yeah, our connection's terrible. Otherwise we would finish predictions now. Or we would do them now. Yeah, finish them. Do them. Yeah. Yes. Bye.
Bye.